Fix old cameras. Your successful completion of the demonstrated repair ultimately depends on the quality of your tools, the condition of your camera, and most importantly, your repair ability.
It takes 2 twirls of the wind crank to get the counter to stop. This would cause irregular spacing of the film. Fiddling about and staring at the side panel doesn't seem to help. So I guess we'll have to take it apart, take the side panel off, and see what's going on. The leatherette on this particular camera is really stuck down. We're going to use a little alcohol to try to dissolve the adhesive so it comes up a little easier. Be patient and be gentle but firm. You pull a little too hard and you'll tear the leatherette. Not pull hard enough and you won't get anywhere. It's got to be just the right amount. With the counter window exposed, remove the frame and the glass. Keep working the leatherette gently around the focus knob as it's very thin. With the leatherette removed, it's time to attack the cross-point screws. They can be removed as shown. Well, wasn't that exciting? Oh, and don't forget the one hiding underneath the focus knob. Now move to the long slotted set screw that holds the advance crank. Once it's out far enough, just pull it out with the needle nose pliers. Underneath, you'll find a piece of leatherette. Again, it's hard to remove. Use a little alcohol to soften the adhesive. Once the adhesive releases a little bit, go ahead and gently pull the leatherette up. Note the plastic bumper stop post that came off with the leatherette. Underneath, you'll find 2 plastic two screws, and then the 2 plastic bushings, or you can do the 2 plastic bushings and then the 2 screws, whatever order, but with them removed, the plate will lift up. The bushings are shaped with a curved surface, so make a note of how they will go back in. Then underneath the bushings is a spring plate and 2 spring plates actually. Remove both of those, and then you'll find 2 more screws that are barely in the camera shot, but you can tell that they're there, and those will need to be removed. And make a little mark so that you know where the timing is for the flip of the advance crank, so you don't put it on backwards, because then when you flip it, the knob won't be tucked into the little receiver hole. Okay, so you'll just have to work the plate off and free of the focus knob. It kind of hangs up on it a little bit, but it will swing free. And once free, we can kind of inspect the mechanisms to see what's going on. We'll put just a film reel into the advance side and then lock the film door. And with the film reel in there, we can give the wind crank a couple turns and see how it works. See if it stops. It actually stopped in the right spot. So and it released. And see if we get 1 or 2 cranks on this. 1 crank and stopped. Okay, so what's going on here is the top cover is dented to the point where it was blocking the mechanism that allowed the release pawl of the counter to engage, and that's what was causing it to skip. So we need to get that dent out, and so we're going to set that dent on that little anvil block that's sitting on the table, and it's soft enough we can probably press it out. If not, we'll use a a fiber-headed hammer to give it a few taps to see if we can get that dent to be removed. Just be gentle. Don't get in a big hurry. Don't go whacking away on it and bend it the other way. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, just like body work on an automobile. Like back in the old days when this man helped his teenage son restore a 67 Mustang to its original glory. Right? Okay, check the engagement level. Working fine. That's for the multi-exposure. Just make sure it's linked properly so we can turn that and engage this. There, seated. Okay, so we're good. All right. Now it's just a matter of putting the screws back in. Again, exciting stuff. With the side panel screws installed, let's move to the advanced lever assembly and reinstall it. Let's begin with the chrome plate. Install the 2 cross-point screws. Install the 2 spring washers. Install the black cover plate. Now come the plastic bushings. Make sure they are installed in the proper position. See how the slopes away from the center piece. Now glue the leatherette on using Pliabond glue. Just a thin layer. You will also need to install the black plastic bumper stop. It was removed during disassembly, but it wasn't shown. Well, it was shown, but not very well. So it obviously needs to be put back. Again, using Pliabond glue. Now we'll install the wind crank and make sure it is positioned so that it will flip properly into the receiver hole. Once the set screw is installed, using a properly sized slotted screwdriver, screw that on in until it just gets snug. Don't over tighten it, as it is a brass screw and can be easily damaged. Now we will glue the frame and counter window in place using a little bit of Pliabond glue. With the window in place and the frame in place, we can now put the side panel leatherette on with a little bit of Pliabond glue spread on a thin layer. While it's still wet, install. It is a contact cement, but it can be used while it's wet, and it actually works really well for gluing leatherette on that's maybe not wanting to lay flat. Work it all around the edges. Any that squeezes out can be cleaned off with alcohol. An alcohol saturated cotton tip cleaning swab works nice for this. This rambling narration is just about over. At startup, the crank should spin 3 times and stop at 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Perfect. The end.
Thank you for watching. Inspired? Check back for new video postings.